Hey guys, my name is Gautam. In this brand new episode, we are going to build this professional and beautiful website with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. As you seen on the trailer, this website is just awesome. We are going to learn a lot of things while building this project. I go through step by step from scratch. So without a further ado, let's look at what we are going to build. We have this beautiful navigation menu here and our header section with two buttons and here a contact us button, and after that you can see this section is nicely animating to right side, and you can see these icons and this big circle is animating scale up and down, and this section animating to left side, and you can see these boxes with beautiful hover effect and these gradient colors for these boxes and these boxes, and you can see this zoom in animation for our projects and this beautiful hover effect on each of the image and zoom in animation to this section as well, and hover effect for these social profiles, and this section animating to right side. This is our testimonial section, and this section animating to left side. This is our blog section, and you can see this call to action button here, and this is our footer, and we have scroll to top button here. When we click it, it scrolls our website to top of the website, and you can see this will disappears, and when we scroll to this point it will appears. When we scroll up it won't appears, and when we click it, it scrolls our website to top. And we have this exciting feature of dark mode here. We can switch to dark and light themes, and when we refresh the browser it still in the dark mode. For this we are using local storage. I am so excited to build this project, so without a further ado, let's jump into it. I open my Visual Studio Code. In this we have all the images we need and our HTML file, CSS file and JS file and a text file with some resources. In this file we have all the gradient colors that we are using and colors for our H1 and P tags in both dark and light themes, and a link for Google Fonts and Font Awesome CDN and other script tags that we are using in this website. So I include a link in the description below to download the starter files, so it makes a lot easier for you guys to get started. So now let's start with our HTML file. Press tab or enter. This will create a default HTML template for us. Our title will be TechBees, and before that link our CSS file and Font Awesome CDN. For those I will leave comments like this: custom CSS. This will be our CSS file and Font Awesome CDN to use some icons in our website. This will be open our text file and simply copy this and paste it here. In our body I will create a header. In our header we have a nav menu, class name of navbar. In our navbar we have our logo with the class name of logo. This will be in our images logo.png, and after that we have UL with class name of navlist. In our UL we have some allies with some anchor tags. This will be our home. Duplicate this 5 more times, Alt Shift and down arrow. This will be about, and this will be services, and this will be portfolio, and this is blog, and this is contact us. I will give a class name for this. So to make it as a button, And after our nav, we have a row with two columns, one for our header content and one for our hero image. In our header content, we have h1 with a text called VR Startup. Creative agency, and after that we have a p tag with some text, program 30. This will create 30 dummy words for us. And after that we have two buttons with some anchor tags. This will be class name of learn more, for learn more button. And after that, the class name of CTN, contact us button. Now open this with live server. Many of you guys know about this. If you don't know, in Visual Studio Code, open this tab and look for live server. You will find this. Simply install this so that we can open our HTML file lively in the browser. So it makes a lot easier for us to look up the changes that we made. Open with live server. This open up like this. Make this down. And by pressing Ctrl B, the sidebar will collapse. Now let's style our header. Open our CSS file. We are using Google Fonts for our website, so first import that. I will leave a comment here. Google Fonts. This will be open our resources text file. You will find this link. Simply copy this and paste it here. And after that, we have some global stylings. For that, I will leave a comment here. Global. In our global stylings, margin will be 0, padding will be 0, and box sizing will be border box. And after that, in our body, font family will be Poppins, and a callback font sans serif. In our body, H1, every H1 text should be in this color. Open our text file, copy this and paste it here. And in our body, every p tag should be in this color. Open our text file, copy this color and paste it here. Now you can see our H1 and p tags have these colors. And if you guys don't know about this global styling, by applying style to this star mark, we'll add stylings to our entire HTML document. Let me show. If I comment this out and save this file, you can see by default our HTML document has some little margin and padding. And if we add these stylings so that it has no margin and no padding to our entire document, so for that we are adding this global style. Now let's style our header. In our header, we have a background image. This URL will be in our images, header BZ, and add our hero image in our HTML file. In our hero image column, add this hero image. The source will be in our images, hero image.svg. You can see this. You can see our background is repeating we don't want that. So for that, background repeat will be no repeat, so it won't repeats. Now let's target our row in which we have this header content and hero image. This display will be flex and align items, center, and padding top will be 10 rem. And now target our navbar. This position will be absolute and top 0 and left 0. Now we can see our navbar appeared at top and left 0, and display flex, you can see, and width 100%. And after that, in our navbar, target our UL, and this flex will be 1, and text align right. Now you can see this text aligned in right. Add a little padding for our navbar. Padding top and bottom will be 10 pixel. Left and right 50 pixel. And align items, center. In our navbar, UL, and target our LI. This list style will be none, and display inline block. So all these LIs displayed in a line, and margin top and bottom 0, left and right 25 pixel. So these have a little margin. And after that, in our navbar, UL, inside LI we have anchor tags. Target those, and text decoration will be none, and color white smoke, you can see here. And target our logo. This width will be 150 pixel. That make it 180 pixel. Nice. Now let's target our contact us button. If you remember, we add a class of CTN for that. So target that CTN, and padding will be 10 pixel and 20 pixel, and background will be this linear gradient 3 color. Copy this and paste it here. You can see that. And border radius 50 pixel, and on hover, CTN on hover, this background color will interchange. Copy this color, cut it out and paste it after here. Now you can see on hover the color changes. Now add some more stylings in our global styles. Here in our body, every anchor tag will have text decoration, none, and color white smoke. And now you can remove this line of code, and we specify some colors in our root directory here. I will leave a comment, gradient colors. Say root. Here we can specify CSS variables. Simply come here and copy these 4 gradient colors and paste it here. Now we can, by calling this variable, we can access this color from anywhere in our CSS. For example, cut this color and specify gradient 3. Still we have this color here. Now target our header content and hero image. And hero image. These have a flex basis of 50%, so that these both will occupy 50% of the space. And padding 5 run. And in our header content, target our h1. This font size will be 7 vmin. By saying vmin, the text will get responsive. If I scale down, the text have this font size. If I scale up, you can see that text size will increasing automatically. So for that, using vmin. And in our header content, target our p tag. That margin bottom will be 20 pixel. And have a margin for our h1 also. Margin bottom will be 30 pixel. And then now target our learn more button. Learn more button has a padding of 10 pixel and 20 pixel. And it has a border of 1 pixel solid, and this tomato color, and it has a border radius of 50 pixel, and color will be this tomato color, and it has margin right 30 pixel. And increase this to 30 pixel. After that, on our learn more button, on hover, we have this background color of gradient 3, and border will be none, and color will be white smoke. And you can see we have too much of padding top. Remove that. On our row, padding top will be 5 rem, and target our hero image. In that image, margin left will be 80 pixel, and you can see, and add a margin top for our h1. Margin top will be 7 rem, and this color will be in our text file. Copy this blue color, paste it here. Now our header section is completed. Now move on to our services section. In this we have 4 services and this services content. Now open our HTML file. After our header, create a comment of services, and after that create a section called with a class name of services. In this section we have a container with 2 columns. One is grid wrapper and one is our services content. In this grid wrapper we have these 4 services. So for that, create a grid box. Duplicate this. We have 4 different types of services. So for each of that, add a class, one for mobile app and one for web design and one for marketing and one for branding. After that, in our services content, we have a h1 with our best services and we have a p tag with lorem 30 and another p tag with lorem 20, and after that we have a learn more button. I will add a class of ctn for this. This will be our learn more button. Save this and open it. Now we can see our services section with a learn more button. Now add our services in this grid boxes. In this mobile app box we have a icon. This will be in our images, mobile app.png and a h1 with mobile app text. And in this web design box we have an icon. The source will be in our images, web design.png and a h1 text with web design. And in this marketing box we have a icon and the source will be in our images, marketing.png and a h1 with marketing. And in our branding box we have an icon. This will be our branding.png and a h1 with branding. Now style this section, open our CSS file and make a comment of services and our services, target our services section. This has a margin top of 80 pixel. Now target our container. This has a padding of 3 rem and display will be flex. And then now target our grid wrapper and our services content. For this, flex basis will be 50%. Now you can see these aligned in flex and both these have 50% of the flex basis. Now target our grid box. For now, add a background color of any color and add a margin. 10 pixel. Now you can see our grid boxes. So for this, target our grid wrapper and display. And display will be grid. And you can see nothing is changed. So for that, now add grid template columns, and let's say one FR and one FR. These will align our grid boxes in one FR and one FR, and one FR and one FR means it aligns our content in two columns with one FR of space. Let me show. If I add another one FR, this will add our content in three columns. And if I add another FR, it will align our content in four columns. And if you want more, we can add like that, and we don't have to say 4 times 1 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR. For that, we have a function called repeat. By saying 4 and 1 FR, this will align our content 4 times in 1 FR, 1 FR ratio. We don't need 4 columns here, so I say auto fit and min max of 250 pixel and auto. Save this. What this will do, let me explain. By saying auto fit min max 250 pixel and auto, this will align our content. When there is a 250 pixel of space, the boxes will align in a single row, and if there is no space for 250 pixel, the box gets down. Now you can see we have 250 pixel for this box, and we don't have another 250 pixel of space for this box, so this scales down. And if I increase this size, you can see we have 250 pixel of space for this and another 250 pixel of space for this, so this aligned in a single row. If there is no space for this box of 250 pixel, that will gets down. So for that, we added min max of 250 pixel and auto. And by saying auto fit, you can see when this box gets down, the another box occupying the entire space available in that column. So to occupy the entire space remaining in this column, we added auto fit. Now remove this margin here and add a grid gap of 2 em. This will add a 2 em of space between our grid boxes, and add a little padding for this, and padding will be 2 rem. After that, our grid boxes have a height of 200 pixel and a padding of 1 rem, and text align will be center. And in our grid box, target our image, and this has a width of 80 pixel and height 80 pixel, and margin bottom will be 20 pixel. And in our grid box, our H1 color will be white smoke, you can see this. And for our H1, font weight will be 600, will be 500. Okay. For our grid box, add a border radius of 5 pixel and box shadow 2 pixel and 5 pixel of this RGB color. You can see, and now add gradient colors for the services. For that, target our mobile app and add a background of gradient 1 and now target our web design and add background of gradient 2, and after that target our marketing and background will be gradient 3. After that our branding, for this background will be gradient 4. You can see this, and remove this color here. And now style our services content. Target our services content. It has a padding of 3 rem and in our services content, each one font size will be 6 min and margin bottom 30 pixel, and in our services content target our p tag. It has a padding right of 5 rem make it 6 rem, and it has margin bottom 30 pixel. And then now in our HTML file, open in our services content, add a circle image with a class name of circle. In this div, add a image in our images, circle.svg. Now you can see this big circle here, circle, and add a position of absolute to this, and before that add position relative to that parent element, and in this, in our circle, our image, and this top will be 0% and left 0%, and it has a width of 600 pixel. Now we can see this circle here, move it left minus 20% and top of minus 10%. You can see this here, add width of 650 pixel and add z index -1 so that it goes down. Now we will add some animations to this circle and these icons. For that, add an animation. This name will be scale up, and it for 6 seconds is in out, and it will repeat infinite times. For that, add a comment here of animations, add keyframes, name will be scale up, and at 0%, this will have a transform. Scale up 1.2, and at 50% it has scale 1, and at 100% it has scale 1.2. Now you can see this beautiful animation for this. Now add the same animation, copy this, and for our grid box icons, now you can see these are animating, and for our grid boxes add a little padding. For our grid box I will add padding of 2 rem. Now this looks good. Now add some margin for these two boxes and margin for our services section. For this web design, we will add a margin top of 30 pixel, and for our branding also margin top 30 pixel, and for our services section we added margin top 80 pixel, but it doesn't apply. I think we spell it incorrect. Services, open our HTML file, services, yes, we did it incorrect. Save this. Now our services section is also completed. Okay, now let's move on to our next section, which is our number section. Okay, open our HTML file. After this services section, I will leave a comment of numbers, and I will create a section with a class name of numbers. In this section we have h1 with this text and a p tag with lorem 30. After that we have a container. In this we have two columns. One is grid wrapper and one is mockup image. And in our grid wrapper we have 4 boxes. We can add grid box as we did here, so that the same stylings will apply to this grid wrapper and these grid boxes. So I will add a class name of grid box. In this we have a h1 with and a h2 with happy clients. Duplicate this 3 more times and change this text, and this will be projects completed. And after that running projects, And after that, awesome designers, and this in mockup image we have image. In our images, team mockup, now open this. Okay, open our CSS file, and here I will leave a comment of numbers. Now target our mockup image. For this, flex basis will be 50%. For our grid wrapper, already we added a flex basis of 50% at here. So now for our mockup image, we are adding a flex basis of 50%, and in this mockup, target our image and say maximum width will be 100%, and text align, not for this, and margin will be top and bottom auto, left and right 20 pixel. You can see this here. Okay, now add gradient colors to our boxes. For grid box, I will add another classes for these. I will say happy clients. And for this, let's decrease the size. Happy clients. Projects completed. Running projects, and awesome designers. We'll say designs. Copy this. For this, I will add a background. Of gradient 1, and for this we add a background of gradient 2, and for this we will add background of gradient 3, and for these designs we will add gradient 4. You can see this here. Now style these things. In our numbers, grid box, that H1 color will be H2, actually H2 color will be what we have, H1 or H2. This color will be white smoke, and font weight 400 and margin top 30 pixel. And font size 20 pixel. And for our H1, font size will be 32 pixel. Increase that to, let's say, 40 pixel. Let's add a plus sign for these numbers. Open our HTML file and add plus sign here. Now let's add a hover effect for these boxes in our numbers. Our grid box on hover has a transform translate y minus 30 pixel, and here for this grid box add a transition in our numbers. For our grid box is add a transition of 2 seconds, 1 second, is in out for transform. You can see this beautiful effect here. Make it 20 pixel, and this will be 0.5 seconds. Make it as 1 second. You can see this beautiful hover effect. Now style this text. Open our CSS file. Target our numbers. For this, margin top will be 100 pixel, and in our numbers or H1, font size will be 40 pixel, and padding left will be 5 rem, and padding right will be 50%. And after that, in our numbers, target our p tag. For this, padding left will be 5 rem, and padding right 50%. You can notice a issue here. By applying padding to this H1, these H1s also applying this padding. So for that, I will add a class name for this H1 as numText. Copy this. Open our HTML file, and for this H1 add a class name of numText. Save this, and you can see that padding applied only for this H1. Now let's add a box shadow for this image. Open our CSS file, and in this mockup image, this margin will be 20 pixel, and box shadow will be 2 pixel, and 5 pixel, and 10 pixel, and this color will be black. Let's scale down some opacity like this, and add a border radius of 10 pixel You can see this image here. Now our number section is also completed. Now let's move on to our project section. We have 6 project images and this h1 text. So open our HTML file, and after this section we'll create comment of projects. In this we have a section with a class name of projects. In this we have one h1 text with our latest projects. After that we have a div called projects images. In this we have 6 images in a div's project image. In this div we have a image. The source will be in our images project 1. For now duplicate this 5 more times. Let's see. Okay, now open our CSS file. I will leave a comment projects. Target our project section. Add a margin top of 80 pixel. Margin top. And text align center. After that target our projects images. For that we have a padding of 2 rem and display will be grid and grid template columns. Repeat auto fit min max of 400 pixel and auto. Now target our images div, that is project image. This has a height of 400 pixel and our images. In our project image, target our image. This has a maximum height of 100%. You can see this here. Make this height 300 pixel. And if you see, we applied 2 rem padding to this project images. We have 2 rem padding here, but we don't have 2 rem padding here, because if you observe, this has 400 pixel of width and this image has more width. So to avoid that, in our project image, say overflow will be hidden. You can see 2 rem padding on each side. Okay, now change these images. Open our HTML file. This will be project image 2. This will be 3. This will be 4. This is 5. And this is 6. Save this. Now you can see our images. Now target our h1 in our projects. h1 has a font size of 40 pixel and we want a hover effect on these images. For that, open our HTML file. in this project image div, after this image I will add a div with a class name of details. In this we have a h2 with the text of creative and a h1 with the text of web development, and after that we have a font awesome icon. Font awesome class name will be arrow circle right. Save this and open our CSS file. Target our details and for this position will be absolute, and add a position relative to this div so that with relative to this div position absolute applied to these details. Now you can see we don't have any details here. By applying position relative and saying top 0 and left 0, you will find the details here. Now style this, add display flex and flex direction will be column, and justify content space around and width 100% and height 100%, and add a background color of this blue and decrease opacity like this. Now you can see these details here, and this justify content is space around, and change these colors. So for that, in our details, our h1, h2 and I have a color of this white smoke, and in our details I should have a font size of 30 pixel. Now you can see this. We don't want this all the time. When you hover over here, it has to display. So for that, in our details, add a transform, scale x should be 0, so that now you can see these details not appearing here. And then now when we hover over these div, these details have to display. So for that, on project image, hover, our details should have a transform, scale x 1, so that now you can see on hover these details are appearing, and add a transition, a transform of 1 second, 0.5 seconds, is, now you can see this hover effect. Now add these details for all our images. Open our HTML file and copy these details div and paste it after every image. Now you can see the details on every image. You can see this section is completely responsive without media queries, and I scale this down to make this responsive. In our project image, add a minimum width of 100% so that it automatically changes. You can see the section is completely responsive without any media queries. and make this with 350 pixel so that it completely responsive for mobile, tablet and desktop devices. So now our project section is also completed. Now let's move on to our next section, which is our team section. In this we have a grid with 4 columns. So open our HTML file. After this section, I will create a comment of team. And after this, we have a section with a class name of team. In this team section, we have a grid wrapper. In this we have 4 team members. So for that, I will create a div called team mem. We have 4 of these. And save this. For now, style these things. I will create commit here. Our team, target our team section. And this has a margin top of 80 pixel. And in our team, now here we have a h1 with meet our team. Target that. This has a font size of 40 pixel. And text align will be center. If you remember, for this grid wrapper class, before we added display property grid. So for the now target our team mem div. Team mem. For now add a background to look up the changes. And add a height of 400 pixel. Now you can see our team divs. Now add our content to this. In this we have our profile. This will be in our images. Team 1. And we have a h1 with the name. This will be John Smith. And a h2 CEO and founder. And we have the social profiles here. So for that, I will create a div. Inside this team mem div, this will be social profiles. In this we have 4 icons which are font awesome icons. This will be Facebook. And this is Twitter. And this is Instagram. And this is LinkedIn. Save this. Open our CSS file. And in this team mem, target our image. This has a width of 80 pixel and border radius 50%. You can see this. Now add content to these boxes also. Open our HTML file. Copy this. Copy this from to here and paste inside here and here and here. Now change these images. This will be 4, this will be 3, this will be 2, and here the name will be Sophia, manager. This is Michael, design expert, and this is Robert, product designer, now change this color, this will be white, and add a background to our grid wrapper. It has a background. Of gradient 2. You can see now our H1 has a margin bottom of 30 pixel. Make it 50 pixel, and our TMM div has a border radius of 5 pixel. Now let's style this. This has a display property of flex, and flex direction will be column, and justify content, space around, and align items, center. You can see this here. Add color to these icons and this H2. In our TMM, target our H2. This has a color of gray, and in our TMM, our eye should has a color of this gray. You can see this. If you see this H1 and this H1, applying this font size of 40 pixel. So for that I will add a class name here. This class name will be team H1. We'll copy this, save this. We'll name it here team H1. You can see this looks good. And for this H2 I will add a margin bottom of 20 pixel, and font size of 18 pixel, and now add a margin to these icons, margin 20 pixel. You can see these icons here. We didn't get Instagram. Open our HTML file. Instagram. Yes, spell it incorrect. This will be Instagram. Instagram. You can find this. Let's now on hover, TMM, our eye, on hover, this color will be our blue color. You can see on hover and transform, scale 1.2, and add a transition of transform 0.5 seconds, and ease you can see on hover, make it 1.4. And see cursor, pointer, okay. On hover, this card also have effect for that. On hover, TMM, on hover, transform, translate by -20 pixel, and add a transition. For transform, .5 seconds is, you can see on hover, make it 1 second. You can see this hover effect, and add a little padding for this grid wrapper. Padding will be 4 rem. Now this looks good. Oh, we messed up something. Open our CSS file, and if you see, we applied style to this grid wrapper which we used, and in here also. So for that, now add in our team, this grid wrapper have these styles. So for this have these own stylings, and this have this own styling. Now our team section is also completed. Now move on to another section, which is our testimonial section. So open our HTML file. After this section, we have a comment of testimonials, and we have a section with the class name of testimonials. And in this, we have a grid wrapper. Before that, we have a h1 with what our client says. And after that, we have a p tag with lorem 15. And after that, we have a grid wrapper. In this, we have 3 reviews. I will duplicate this, and now open our CSS file. After this, I will leave a comment of testimonials. Now target our testimonials. In this, we have margin top 80 pixel, and in our testimonials, I will leave a class for this h1 text. Class testimonials. Copy this, and testimonials h1. Copy this. For this, we have a font size of 40 pixel. And now target our review. For now, add a background color of any color, and add a height, minimum height of 400 pixel. Now you can see in this we add this content, which is our profile image and this text. So open our HTML file. In this review we add a font awesome icon, a quote, right? And after this, for this image and this h1 text, we will add a div with profile. In this we have image, a random image team1 and a h1 of John Doe. And after this profile div, we have a p tag with lorem30. Save this. Now you can see this here. In this, in our review, and in that profile, display, flex and align items, center, and in this target our image. This has a width of 100 pixel and border radius 50%. You can see. Now add content to these boxes. Open our HTML file. Copy this review 2 more times. Delete this. Now you can see. Let's style this. In this review, our icon has a font size of 30 pixel and have a color of gray. And add margin bottom of 50 pixel, and after that target our profile. This is, it has a margin bottom of 30 pixel, and after that in our review target our p tag. It has a padding left of 50 pixel. You can see this. Add a padding of 60 pixel, and for this image margin right will be 20 pixel. And now remove this background color. Now you can see our testimonial section, and now target this h1. This h1, it has a padding left of 5 rem, and in this testimonials target our p tag. I will say a class name for this, which is testimonials p tag. I will copy this. This has a padding left of 5 rem, and padding right of 50%, and after that our grid wrapper in this testimonials, our grid wrapper has a padding of 3 rem, and for this p tag, let's say margin left 80 pixel. If you want, you can change these images. Let's change these in our HTML file. This will be, let's say 2, this is 3. I will leave the names as it is. If you want, you can change those. And now our testimonial section is also completed. Now move on to next section, which is our blog section. So open our HTML file. After this, I will leave a comment of blog. In this we have a section with a class name of blog. In this blog we have a grid wrapper. In this we have 3 blogs. I will say here blogs, and in this we have 3 blogs. So I will leave a class name of blog. I have 3 more. Open our CSS file. I will leave a comment here. Blogs. This target our blog section. It has a margin top 80 pixel, and in this for our blog add a minimum height of 400 pixel. For now add background color just to look the changes. You can see our blogs here. Now add content to these boxes. Open our HTML file. In this blog 1 we have a image. In our images, blog 1, and after this we have a h2 with this text, powerful app for tracking daily activities. And after this we have a p tag with some text, and after this we have a anchor tag with learn more, read more. You can see this here. In our blog, target our image. It has a maximum width, a width of 100% and max height of 300 pixel. You can see this. If you add content to this box, it changes. Copy, duplicate this 2 more times and get rid of this. You can see. Now change these images. This will be block 3. This is block 2. If you want, you can change this text. I will leave it like this. Now remove this background and add a padding for our grid wrapper in these blocks. Now blocks, grid wrapper, add a padding of 4 rem, and now change this H2 text color. make this H2 to H1. H1, you can see, we'll target that in our block. Our H1 has a margin top and bottom of 30 pixel, 20 pixel, left and right 0, and font size will be 20 pixel. After that, in our block, our anchor tag should have this color of our H1, and you can see this. Add a H1 text here. Open our HTML file. In this blog, I will add a H1 with the class name of blog H1. Our latest blogs. Copy this. After this, the font size will be 40 pixel and text align center. Now this looks good. So now our blog section is also completed. Now let's move on to this section. For that, open our HTML file. I will leave a comment here of call to action. After this, I will create a section with a class name of get started. In this we have a container with a call to action container. In this container we have a div with a class name of ctn text, and after this we have one button with a class name of ctn button. This will be get started, and in this ctn text we have a h1 with a text of get started with techbees. Get connected with techbase, and after this we have a p tag with lorem 7, and now open our CSS file. We'll say a comment call to action, target our get started section. It has a margin top of 80 pixel. After that, target our ctn container. It has a padding of 5 rem. This padding of 10 rem. And then now target our button, ctn button. It has a padding 10 pixel and 20 pixel. This color should be white, and it has a background of gradient 2. You can see, and border will be none. and it has a padding top and bottom 20 pixel, left and right, let's say 40 pixel, and font size will be 25 pixel, maybe 20 pixel, and then now for our CTN container, add display flex and add a width of 100%, add a box shadow 0 pixel and 10 pixel. This should be this black. Change opacity, should be 2 like this, and remove this padding here and add this padding to here. You can see. Let's make width should be 80% and a padding of 2 rem. You can see, and margin 10 pixel top and bottom, left and right auto. By saying left and right auto, this box is aligned at center. And now justify content, space around, you can see this, and add a border radius of 10 pixel, and for this button also border radius 5 pixel, let's make 2 pixel. Now add a box shadow, maybe 0 pixel, 20 pixel and 10 pixel of blue. Decrease opacity like this, make it 5 pixel, and make this padding 50 pixel. You can see. On CTN button, on hover, background will be gradient 4, you can see, and add here cursor, pointer, and outline should be none. You can see. Now this section is also completed. Let's move on to another section, which is our final section, our footer section. So for that, open our HTML file. After this section, I will create a comment of footer, and I will create a section with a class name of footer. In this, we have a grid wrapper. In this we have 4 columns. I will say column 4, duplicate this 3 more times, open our CSS file, I will leave a comment of footer, target our footer, and add a margin top 80 pixel, and in our footer target our call for now add a background color if anything. And add a min height of 400 pixel. You can see in our footer we have 4 columns. Now add these contents on each of these boxes. For that, open our HTML file. In this we have this h1 and this p tag. So open our HTML file. In this we have a h1, the text techbees. And after that we have a p tag with lorem20. And after that we have social profiles. So for that I will copy this. And paste it here after this p tag. And in our second column we have h1 with contact info. In that we have some h4s, one for address, techbees, New Jersey. I will leave it like this, and h4 with New York, USA. And after that my phone number will say 00. And after that we have mail, techbees@gmail.com. And after that we have another h4 with our website link, website.com. And in our third column we have this text with h4. This h4 will be company, this will be projects, this is events, this for awards, and another for open source. In our fourth column we have a h1 with solutions, and I copy this and paste it here. Custom software, and I leave it is like this. If you want you can change. Okay, let's change. Web design, this is for app development, this is for, and I leave this like this. Now you can see we have 4 columns. Now style this. In this we have forgotten to add a h1. This will be our about us. Now style this. Open our CSS file and remove this background color, and I will add class name to these columns. For each column this will be footer 1, that means footer 1 first column, and this will be footer 2, and this is footer 3, this is footer 4. Save this, open our CSS file, target our footer 1, this, target our h1, I will leave, font size will be 40 pixel, and margin bottom will be 30 pixel. In our footer 1, target our icons, it has a margin of 20 pixel and font size of 20 pixel, and add color will be gray, font size 25 pixel. Then now add margin top and bottom 50 pixel. Now this looks good. Now let's style this. Open our HTML file and make this correct. Open our CSS file and target our footer 2. In that h4, copy this, and for our footer 3, and in our footer 4, h4 will be in this color gray and has a font weight of 400. Now target our column 4, make this minimum height will be 200, and display flex direction will be column, and justify content space around. Now this looks good. After this, open our HTML file, and after this div, put a HR, and after this we have our copyright text with a class name of copyright. In this we have a h4 with copyright Gautam 3. All rights reserved. And after that we have another h4 with terms and use. And one more for privacy policy. Save this. You can see this here. Now open our CSS file, target our copyright, this display will be flex, and flex justify content space around, color should be gray, and add a padding of 30 pixel, and font weight should be 500, this 400. Okay, now target our HR in our footer, target our HR. For this, width will be 90%, and margin, top and bottom 0, left and right auto. You can see these here. Now in our footer, add a background image. This URL should be this in our images. Footer agency.png. You can see this here. Make this background size should be cover. Now this looks good. Now our footer section is also completed. Now let's add some beautiful animations to our website. For this we are using a library called AOS, animate on scroll. Open this and here you can find the script tag and the CSS file. To initialize this library we are using this script tag, and now copy this. After this I will create a comment AOS and paste it here, and now copy the script tag. Before the body section, paste it here. I will create a comment AOS now you can see by default it has the settings, all the settings here, and to trigger animation we have to add this data point to our div, any div or any section. So now let's copy this. You can find different types of animations down here. So these are all the animations that we are able to do with this library. You can check these all here. By adding this data AOS and the animation name to our div, it will trigger that animation. So now let's just copy this and open our HTML file. For our services section, here I will add this animation. I will add animation fade right. Now open our website and you can see it fading to right, but you can find that it is very too fast. To increase that duration, just open our HTML file, add here in this init file. By default it has offset 120, delay 0 and duration 400 milliseconds. Let's increase this. Simply open our resources file, copy this and paste it here. Now you can see the animation is smoothly animating. It fading to right. It's so simple to create animations with this library. Now let's add fade left to this section. Up here. Copy this. And now after our services section, we have a number section. For this, add fade left. You can see this fading to right and this fading to left. On every time we scroll to this point, it will animate, which is awesome. Now add some other animation to this. See what else we have. I will use zoom in. Okay, let's try this. Zoom in. For our project section, we will say zoom in. Let's see. You can see this beautiful animation here. And for this also zoom in, copy this. You can use whatever you want that are here, and to know this, just search for OS.js, open this first link here. You can find all the animations in live here. By fade up, it will animate like this. By fade down, it animate like this, and all the different animations in live. By using data OS flip left, it will animate like this. Now you can select whatever you want from here. Okay, now use this. After this project section, open our team section. In this, I will use for this grid paper, zoom in, you can see here, or let's cut this out and paste it for every team section. Now we can have beautiful animation here. Smoothly animating. On responsive, it will be more awesome. You can see on scroll, each card will be displaying, and here also. And here also you can add like that. For that, open our HTML file in this, in our project section, cut it out and paste it for every image. Not like this, not here, not here, here, and here, here, and here. Save this. You can see all our images here. In responsive, you can see on scroll every image will be placing, which is just awesome. Okay, now let's add some animation to this client section in this blog. I will add animation left and right to this. So for that, copy this. For our testimonial section, we'll add fade right, and for our blog section I will add fade left. Now you can see fade left animation for this and right for this. Now our entire website has beautiful animations. Now let's add a scroll to top button here. On clicking this website have to scroll to top. So for that, open our HTML file, and after this we'll create a comment this section, scroll to top button. Here I will add a I tag with font awesome class and with the idea of scroll to top, and a font awesome class of FA arrow up. Now target this, open our CSS file, we will leave a comment scroll to top. For this, it has a color of white and a background of tomato color, and it has a padding of 15 pixel. You can see this here. Open our HTML file and add another FA here. You can see this arrow here, and add a border radius 50% and position will be fixed, and right 50 pixel and bottom will be 50 pixel. You can see this button here, and add cursor pointer. Now open our HTML file. After the script tag, add our app.js. So for that I will leave a comment here, app.js, and link that. And open our app.js file, and I will leave a comment here, like scroll to top, and here we will create a const of scroll to top. This will be document.query selector, and now add a event listener to this. Scroll to top. For this, add event listener. Event listener will be click. On click, we have to run a function. This function window dot scroll to 0 0, so that on clicking this button our website will be scrolled to top. You can see how quick it is. We want to scroll this smoothly. For that, the scroll to has a object of top 0 and left 0 and behavior smooth. So on clicking this, our website will be scrolled to top 0 and left 0 smoothly. You can see on clicking, our website will scrolling to top very smoothly. And we don't want this button all the time. When we scroll to this point, it has to display, and when we scroll up, it has to. So for that, open our app.js file, and here add a event listener to our window. Window.add event listener. This will be scroll. On scrolling, run a function. If window.scroll_y is greater than or equal to 900, 700, we want to display this scroll top dot style dot opacity equal to 1, else scroll top dot style dot opacity will be 0. You can see on scrolling to this point, this will displaying, and after it disappearing. Now add a little transition to this. So for that, open our CSS file, and here add a transition. This will be opacity 0.5 seconds. You can see it appearing here. When we click, it scrolls to top. Now our scroll to top button is also finished. Now let's add dark mode to our website, which is very exciting feature of this website. Open our HTML file, and in our navbar, I will create a div with a ID with a class name of theme. In this we have input, the ID checkbox, and a class name of checkbox, and input type will be checkbox, and for this we have a label for checkbox. In this label we have a div with a class name of ball. Now open our CSS file, and here I will create a comment, theme toggle, target our label here. For this label I will create a class name of label, this label has a width of 50 pixel and has a height of 20 pixel, and background color will be white. Background color will be this color, and display flex and align items, center. You can see this here. Border radius will be 50 pixel. And now target our ball. In our label, we have a class name of ball. It has a width of 15 pixel and height of 15 pixel, and background will be this color. And add a border radius 50% and margin 5 pixel. You can see this ball here. On clicking this, you can see our checkbox is checking. Now remove our checkbox. So for that, target our checkbox. Opacity will be 0 and position absolute. Okay. Now target our theme right here. It has a position absolute, top 30 pixel and left 30%. You can see this position here. Now on clicking this, you have to scroll this bar to this right side of this label. So for that, if checkbox check it, we have to change the color of label. I will target label. It has a background of this color. If it check it, it has that color. And if the checkbox is checked, in our label or ball should have a color of white smoke. Background color you can see this color here. Add transform, translate X 30 pixel, make it 25 pixel. You can see on checking the ball is moving to right side. Add a transition to this. Add here, I will add a transition, transform 0.5 seconds. You can see on checking this nicely animating. And now add cursor pointer to this. Okay, now open our app.js file. I will leave a comment here. Theme, and here I will create a const of theme toggle. Now target our checkbox, label For that, document dot query selector, checkbox, now add event listener to this. Theme toggle dot add event listener. Event will be change on change. Change means if it checked, it will change. So for that, we will create a function. Here, target our body, const body equal to document dot query selector our body, and inside this function body dot class list dot toggle dark. So on checking this will add a class name of dark to our body. So now open our CSS file. At here I will create a comment, dark mode colors. For this, for our body, in dark mode we have a background of this color. Now you can see on checking our entire body having this color. And now in our body on dark mode, our p tags have this color, you can see. And in our body on dark mode, our h1 have this white smoke. You can see. And you can see these will also changing. So for that, in our body on dark mode, in our team section, our h1 have this color. You can see. You can see this color here. And change color for this footer section also. For our footer section, let's see what we added up here. For our h4 we added gray color. So for that, copy this. In our body on dark mode, our footer 4 sections will have color of this color. You can see this here. And for our copyright section also, in our body in dark mode, our copyright section has color of this color. Now our website has a dark mode, and let's change this opacity for this circle. For that, in our body and dark mode, target our circle. It has a opacity of 0.5 You can see the index will be -88. Why is this happening? In our services, up here, this grid box, for this grid box add a z-index of 99. You can see this. Now our website has a beautiful dark mode. You can see our anchor tags shouldn't be visible. So for that, in our body, and dark mode, our anchor tags color will be this color. Copy this, and now can see. Now our website has a dark mode functionality. You can see when we are in this dark mode and when we refresh the browser, it again comes to light theme, and when we refresh it again, it comes to light theme. We don't want like that. So for this we are using local storage, and even when we close the browser and visit this website again, it still remains in the same theme that we used before. So for that, open our app.js file. After this, in dark mode, we have to set a local storage of dark mode. So for that, if body dot class list contains dark mode, then we have to set local storage dot set item. This will be dark mode, and this will be active, whatever you can call this. And if the body contains a class name of dark, then it will add a local storage of dark active. So now at here, I will create a const of dark mode equal to local storage dot get item dark. So what this will do, when we switch to dark mode, this will set a local storage of dark mode. We grabbing that here and at here. Before this event listener, if there is a dark mode, we have to add for body a class name of dark. So what this will do, when we are in dark mode, this will create a local storage of dark, and even when we refresh it, it will still stays in the dark mode. You can see dark mode. When I refresh it, it still stays in the dark mode. But when we switch to light theme, and when we refresh it, it going to dark mode, because we set local storage to dark mode, and we have to remove this. And else here, if the body doesn't contain a class name of dark, this will remove this dark in local storage, and there is no local storage, it doesn't have the class name of dark, so it stays in light theme. And I refresh it, it was in light theme, and I refresh it, it was in dark theme. And you can observe this bar when I refresh it, this ball comes to start. So for that, and if it is in dark mode, target our checkbox right here. Const checkbox. And this is our theme toggle. Theme toggle dot check it equal to true. Now you can see the ball is in its position in dark and light themes, and when we switch to light theme, refresh, still in the same position, and in dark theme, refresh, and at here you can see the footer color is changing. So for that, open our CSS file. In our dark mode, remove this. In our footer, every H4 should have this color. Now you can see this here. Now our entire website is completed. Let's check it out. If you see in dark mode, our nav bar has this light grayish color. So to make it white, open our CSS file, and for this, change color to white smoke. You can see this will be in white smoke color. And if you see at here, we don't have this heading here because this color is applying to this H1. So to change that, open our CSS file, and in our body, in dark mode, in our team section, our team H1 have a color of white smoke. You can see this here. Now our entire website is completed with beautiful animations, hover effects, and this dark mode feature with local storage. It takes just a 10 to 15 minutes of video to make this complete website responsive, but I want you guys to make this website responsive so that you can understand how the things are going on. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. For more videos just like this, hit that subscribe and like button and turn on that notification, and I see you guys in the next video.